sorry, what? Okay, so it's been 3 weeks since I reopened the Etsy shop, and I'm a little surprised at what I'm about to tell you. We didn't really expect it to go this way, nor did I ever think in a million years that things are weird. Let's just go with that. Okay, I always give out the advice that you should have an email list for your Etsy shop. And people listen and they're like, yeah, we know, whatever. Everybody says that, who cares? And the reality is it's kind of hard to set up an email list. It's kind of hard to get people on it. It's kind of a pain in the ass to deal with. You have to write all these emails and talk to people and shit. But today, I actually want to show you what happens when you really care about your email list and you take it seriously. Just to preface this, even I am shocked by the results that I'm about to show you. I sent an email to my list expecting about 20 Etsy sales, and I was basically expecting a couple emails like, hey, good for you. Maybe 20 sales. I had estimated 20 sales. And I thought that would be that. That's not really what happened. It kind of went a little different than that. These are the sales that my brother and I made in the last 48 hours. Legit. I don't know how to say this. We're still in shock a little bit, to be honest. It doesn't feel real. And the reason why it doesn't feel real is because this was easy and we could be doing it every month to increase our Etsy sales, but we're not. Not only are we not doing this every single month, we didn't even think of it. But I want to share with you how we managed to do this, what the email looked like, how it kind of changed our strategy and what we're going to do next. And I want to kind of show you the real numbers so you understand what it takes and how long it would take you to replicate something like this. Because we're in a place now where basically if we just sent out one email per month, we could get all the sales that the shop needs for an entire month in 48 hours or less. Yeah, apparently that's a thing. Did not know. So let me just jump in and show you what we did and how it looked and how you can do the same thing. Cool. All right, it's time to look at the stats. So as you can see here, I have custom stats reading from December 16th through 18th, so the last 48 hours. And here is what we're looking at. Quite a few views, quite a few visits, pretty happy with that. We're going to talk about how I sent all that traffic in just a minute. But what I really want to look at here is the number of orders, how quickly they jumped, and the level of revenue that we made in just 2 days. Let's actually look at how it broke down in terms of how much traffic was from Etsy, how much traffic was from us, what we did. If you remember, the last time we had a look at my traffic, most of it was coming from Etsy search. Now we've seen a switch here. I actually made it direct, and I know a lot of people are like, what's direct? But we know that we sent an email out to a bunch of people, and that's what all of this is right here. So 769 of the people who visited the shop in the last 48 hours were a direct result of the email that we sent. So if we hadn't sent the email, I can assume that our traffic would look more like this, where we weren't getting very much direct traffic at all. 2 weeks ago when I looked at the shop, my direct traffic was 24, I think. So we can assume that the majority of these people are a direct consequence of us sending an email. Next, let's take a look at Etsy. You can see that search still sent us a fair amount in those 2 days. And you can also see that we've changed a little bit. We used to have someone's shop. We used to have someone's profile. Now we have a few new ones. We have Etsy's homepage is down. The market page is up. Listings from your shop and others is up. So people are either cross-viewing listings from my shop or they're finding somebody else's and hopping on board with my stuff instead. And then if you take a look at other, you can see we got a decent amount of traffic from my blog. And social media, I think, is pretty much the same. Facebook, we did post some information about the planner sale that we had on Facebook, which is why we got all these new visits. They were a big part of our strategy, and we did add it on at the last minute. So last night, we decided to add this on. And as of this morning, there were 8 purchases from Facebook. So I'd say that it was definitely worthwhile to do that. But once again, Pinterest, I didn't do anything special with Pinterest at all. It's really hard to promote things on Pinterest. There's no real time urgency with pins. So that's why Facebook works so much better in this case. And then finally, we have external search. Not much has changed here. Last time we looked at this, we saw I was ranking a little bit in Google. We saw I got a tiny bit of attention from Google Shopping. And now look, Yahoo has picked me up for literally one person. So we're coming along here slowly, but it's definitely not going to happen overnight here. Google is one of those ones that takes forever. So I fully expect to be 6 months from now sitting here saying that, oh, look, Google finally kicked in. Okay, let's take a look at how the search terms changed. I am using my shop name heavily in the title of the item that we put on sale in our email. We chose one item to put on sale, and that's why you're seeing a lot of the same here. We also did quite well in the last 48 hours anyway. For some coffee mugs, we had several coffee mug sales amongst our planner sales. That was totally unexpected, and I think it was a direct result of traffic Etsy sent us, because normally we will sell maybe 1 or 2 mugs in a day, but we sold 5 yesterday. So I think that that's a result of Etsy sending us more traffic because we sent ourselves more traffic. So that's really interesting. The item that sold didn't get that many searches. People are calling it by what I call myself. It's also a great way to make your brand more visible. Okay, let's take a look at websites. Once again, all this Etsy.com traffic is coming to me. I'm still not beating it out with my blog traffic, even though I've been trying. Google now took over. This used to be Pinterest. Pinterest moved down here. You can see now that Google and Facebook have taken the middle slot, whereas Pinterest used to be third. So that's kind of exciting that some stuff is actually kicking in now. When you send yourself your own traffic, you can speed up this whole Google thing. So I'm really surprised that it worked this quickly. Actually, I'm kind of in disbelief. I'm really hesitant to say that it has worked. I think it might just be circumstantial because of all the traffic we sent, and it might go away next week. But it's definitely worth noting that it happened. Okay, let's talk about what it took to pull this off. This is the final email of 2018. If you check below this video, you'll see a link so you can read through it yourself and see what we did. Now, before we get started, you need to know a few things. We have over 10,000 people on our email list. I think it's 10,700. When I first started my blog, it took me about 1.5 years to get that many. If you look at my stats, as of right now, we've had 109 orders. If you divide that by the 10,000 some email subscribers, that is a 1% conversion rate. So actually, that's not a fabulous conversion rate. I would have liked it better if we were between 2 and 5%. That would have shown that this is a really good email. So the email I'm about to show you, it worked because we have a lot of subscribers. It could be better. So that's something to keep in mind when you're thinking about sending your own emails. The better your email is, the more personable, the more fun, the more people want to open it and read it, the more sales you will get. If this had converted at 10%, which is what our emails normally convert at, then we would have gotten 1,009 sales, which would have been $11,000 in revenue. That's absolutely mind-boggling. So if we had worked harder on this email, we could have done a lot better. Okay, so now for the email that definitely made us money but could be better. So basically, I'm talking to people about how my shop missed Black Friday. I include a funny GIF here. I link to the planner. If I was thinking about it, I would have put the link up here above the fold. If you're sending an email and you can do it, put the link above the fold. Because I was telling a little bit of a story, I put the link down here so that it made logical sense. But if you can work it into conversation naturally, putting the link up higher will always get you a higher conversion rate. Then I included a picture of the item so that people who are skimming know what's going on and what I'm selling. I like to use captions because people tend to look at pictures and read captions instead of reading the whole email. I also included some links in here for a video that's on my blog. I wanted some blog traffic, but I wanted to share with people what was going on and why I was doing what I was doing so they could understand why I was talking about my Etsy shop and, why they might want to buy from me. So I'm trying to connect with my reader and not just say, give me your money, because I hate doing that and it doesn't feel good to read that kind of email. I wanted to make sure that people wanted this item and that they were interested, but I also wanted to offer people who weren't interested something else that they could do to interact with me. So that's what this whole section is about. Next, I do a discount. I do have a countdown timer here. I'm using a tool called Deadline Funnel to do this, but you can also use a free tool called Countdown Mail to have the same effect. This timer makes a big difference. When I don't use a timer in my email, my conversion rate does drop. So using a timer can really help. Now, I made the sale go for 3 days. Based on how I'm seeing sales slow down today, if we look at stats, I've gotten less than half the orders that I got yesterday. I'll have to take a look at this at the end of the day because it's only 2 p.m. right now, but I'm thinking that we're going to be at about half of yesterday today. So I'm thinking that actually we could have made this a 2-day sale. The shorter the sale, the more scarcity you have, but the longer your sale, the more likely you are to get more orders. So you have to kind of juggle and figure it out. You have to look at your pattern of sales. My pattern is clearly full amount in day 1, half in day 2, and I'm guessing we'll get a quarter in day 3. So at that point, is it worth keeping the momentum going? Maybe, maybe not. I'll have to see how the sale pans out when everything is done. So then I talk about what makes the planner different. For anybody who isn't convinced right now, I'm just going down exactly what's offered in the planner and how it works. And I'm making sure that they know the features and benefits that make it different from other things and why it might be worth their time and energy. I'm also including some pictures so they get a feel for what it will be like to use it, what it looks like if it's high quality. I feel like showing multiple pictures of your product can really help. And I mentioned once again where they can get it, grab your copy, and I have the timer. And then I like to have a big old button so anyone who's skimming the whole email can just push the button and move on with their lives. Okay, I like to do a PS at the end, just for people who are skimming. From my estimation, roughly 50% of people who open an email do skim it. So I want to make sure that I tell those people what's going on. You may be thinking, oh my God, Jenni, I don't have 10,000 email subscribers. This is ridiculous. This is never going to happen for me. So if I had made an email that converted at 10%, I would only need 1,000 email subscribers to get these exact same results. So if I had spent more time on my email, I wrote this email about 2 days before it went out. I could have gotten the exact same results with 1,000 subscribers. This is one of the things that's really important about email. Nailing down the best email you can possibly write, showing them as much as you possibly can about the product. And here's the other thing. If I had 1,000 subscribers, I could have sent 2 emails. I could have sent one on day 1 of the sale, one on day 2 of the sale, and I probably would have gotten similar results too. Sometimes when you send more emails, you get more sales. I just wanted to test this with one email and see what would happen so I could see where our baseline is. What I've learned is that our baseline is we convert at about 1% at the Etsy shop. I'd like that to be 5%, and that's what I'm going to work towards throughout the rest of this year. Now I know what my most basic numbers will be. I know I'll convert at 1%. I know that that's roughly 100, 110 orders for the shop. So now I understand what I can do. If our order value was higher, this revenue would have been more too. So the item that went on sale was about $10, $12, depending on if you pay VAT or not. And so the revenue that you're seeing here is based on that. If people had bought this item at full price, it would be twice as expensive. It's actually $20 full price. So we would have made $2,400 in revenue instead of $1,200. So that's something else for me to think about for our next email about the Etsy shop. Selling a higher priced item in the sale might help us to make more overall. So some of the other benefits we got from the sale, our sales went way up. We're really happy about that. The other thing I noticed too is we have a lot of this going on. Over 20 people have this in their cart. We don't have a bestseller badge, so I don't know how that works. But I also noticed that if I take a look through some of the Etsy items, a lot of them are in people's carts. So that was really interesting. I even saw some mugs too, 3 people. So some of our items became more popular as a result of all this traffic we sent ourselves. Next time around, when I come at you again, I'm going to show you the results of some of my SEO testing and what's happened with some of the shorter titles. And then I'm also going to talk about my email plan and what we're going to do with this newfound information that could potentially get us all the sales we need in 48 hours or less every single month. Hopefully, I'll be able to create that email plan in either February or March and start testing it so you can have a look and see how I've made email work wonders for my shop and try to do the same for yours. Thanks so much for watching this Etsy experiment. As always, if you have any experiments you want me to try, just reach out using the FAQ. And thanks so much for watching.